watching the end.
To be on the edge of control.
I like the speed. I like the battles, defying the odds. I want to be champion.
Hello and welcome to Whilton Mill Kart Circuit in Northamptonshire for the next instalment of action from round 2 of the 2020 Ultimate Karting Championship. With 3 class champions already crowned, today we'll be bringing you all of the action from 4 more super final races that will round out what has already been a fantastic weekend's racing from the county at the heart of British motorsport. When it comes to running a fast kart, there's any number of setup changes that you can make. However, at the heart of it all, it's all about the engine. And earlier on, I caught up with a man who knows exactly how to get the best out of that. Joe, great to see you here this weekend. We can see you've got another busy weekend. And it's the X30 engines that you specialise in. Tell us a little bit about how they're put together and what you have to do to make sure that they run sweet for the 3 days of a race weekend.
The rules are quite restricted, so it's all about attention to detail, really. We'll do the Friday testing. I'll dyno the engines in the week before the race, then we'll test on track on the Friday, and then we're allowed to sign on 2 engines for the meeting then once the racing starts.
And typically over a 3-day race weekend like this, how many engines would the kids have at their disposal?
So yeah, once the racing starts we have 2, but previously in the testing on the Friday we'll maybe run through another 1 or 2. If it's wet we'll use stuff which we're not going to use in the racing, not to wear it out. But yeah, see what they like on the track on the day.
What's the kind of maintenance that you're going to have to do on an engine over the course of a weekend?
Yeah, so just sort of checking the carbon. We do use a castor oil, so the carbon builds up, so checking we're still within the regulations, and just general maintenance as well.
So a clean engine is a fast engine?
I much prefer it when it's all clean.
So first out on track then, and it's the turn of the Honda Cadets, and it's our championship leaders Connor Duncan and Ewan Charman who line up on the front row of the grid. And of course Connor Duncan is also running Super Cadets this weekend, so he's got his work cut out for himself. So let's see how they all fare then as we go and join your race commentator, Jake Sansom.
Duncan and Charman on the front row of the Honda Cadet grid. Jocelyn and Usakov, Thompson and Graham. Away we go. Not the best of starts from the front of the grid for Connor Duncan. He's really got a terrible getaway and he's already losing ground as through to the lead comes Charman, and up to second position is that Usakov trying to make his move on the inside line. A big battle as they all dice away through. We're in behind Graham as we're on board with Blake Ticehurst. So Josh Graham gets a good start. Terrible getaway though from Connor Duncan. The GP plate's really in trouble. We're on board with Corey Fowler, and that's a great move on the inside from Jarrett Clark as he makes up a place on the opening lap as well. But at the end of lap 1, goodness me, it's a tough one as Ewan Charman holds the lead. Connor Duncan is all the way down to 7th, and Alfie Thompson didn't get the best of starts either. He slipped out of the top 10. We're on board with Elliot Potter, trying to get his move on the inside of Hartley, but that's not quite the most conventional way to pass Liam Hartley, and he's certainly not going to give him any room he doesn't have to. Graham's going to get his move on the inside of Jocelyn, and Ticehurst gets through on the inside as well. But he carefully leaves enough space on the inside line so that he's still able to go wheel to wheel with his rival. That was very sporting. Gustav Uzhikov right in behind Connor Duncan. So, sorry, not behind Connor Duncan. It's Ewan Charman, of course, because Connor Duncan dropped back down the order. Now here's Aston in front of Corey Fowler. We're on board with Corey. So Stellan in front. Charman holding the advantage here and running a good race in front of Gustav Uzhikov. But the field is obviously working very hard on lap 5. And in third place it is Blake Ticehurst, having worked his way forward. Just in front there. A very exciting run. We're on board now with Blake Ticehurst in behind Graham as they duel over third position. Graham loses the back end. It's so easy to do that. You dab the pedal and the back end just slides out. So Ticehurst well and truly up into third position now. He was battling away there very avidly with Josh Graham, but all it takes is one dab of the brake pedal too hard and it squeezes the rear tyres to a stop. And that basically ends opportunity. Now, there's the move on the inside line from Alfie Thompson. He fights his way back on the inside of Liam Hartley, as seen from the onboard pictures from Elliott. So Elliott's done a good job there to fight his way through the field, of course, as Elliott Potter continues. Now, here's the battle between Usakov and Charman. Now, Charman is your leader, but Usakov is doing the sensible thing here. He's trying to get away from Blake Ticehurst. Now, that is Mackey in front of us, back on board with Elliott Potter. So Harrison Mackey having a good race as well, as he tries to charge his way up the order. Oops, a little bit too close in the braking zone there, Elliott. And that's enough for Mackey to run wide. But it might also be enough for Elliott Potter to make the overtaking move. I'll have to double check on that one, but certainly a feisty race in Honda Cadet at the moment. And Elliott Potter did, in fact, let Mackey go through. That was the sensible manoeuvre. Now Mackey runs a little bit deep, but Hartley still can't quite get through. So a nice little battle between the two of them. There's so many scraps in Honda Cadet today. This is really good stuff. Oh, and a spin. A spin further back. Well, that looks to me like game over for Callum Ghosh. So a bit of a spin there for the 54. And oh, no, it's Devon Nolan. That's Devon Nolan. My apologies. Ghosh is in the mix there as well, having dropped back down the order. So Ghosh has had a spin. He's out of the race. Devon Nolan has fallen to the back of the field in unison. So problems there. We're back on board with Elliott Potter as he tries to pick off a rival or two. This is a little bit too close for comfort. But he does manage to leave enough space there, fortunately, for the 68 to continue on his way. Dalton Hayward, who has been charging up through the field like wildfire. But Usakov is well aware of the fact that Blake Ticehurst, who we're on board with in third position, is catching the two leaders. So Charman and Usakov are having a good race, but they are losing ground now to Ticehurst, who will want to make his bid to get the victory. So it's going to be a proper little scrap between these three now in the closing stages. Ticehurst has closed right up on lap 15. And looking at the time we've got left, I'd say 3 laps to go, including this one. But this is going to be a tough battle. Here's Elliott Potter again with Mackey. These two have been stuck like glue for several laps now. Up into the braking zone for the hairpin, and Mackey will not give way. Good defensive run from Harrison Mackey here. Elliott Potter's trying to intimidate him, but he will not be denied as Connor Duncan sets the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to charge his way back. He's climbed back to 4th position as Usakov tries to make his bid on Charman. Ticehurst is right there in 3rd position, and they are going to work in unison now. Ticehurst is going to edge Usakov past Charman around the outside line, and Usakov's gone into the lead. Thanks, Blake. That was a brilliant little move. And here it is again. Look, Ticehurst decides to work with Usakov. He knows that he can basically assist him with a little bump draft down the straight. He almost managed to get past Charman as well, but Charman braked late and Usakov was able to keep the lead, but Ticehurst wasn't quite able to get past Charman. But that's the first time we've had a lead change in this race. And with only a couple of laps to go, Usakov is defending like wildfire. Charman is trying to get back into the lead of the race. Usakov drifts wide through Ashby, and now comes the real battle. Ticehurst trying to come around the outside of Charman as they cut into Parker, down the drop. Usakov trying to hold the lead from Charman. He squeezes him out into Chapman, and now Ticehurst is going to assist his teammate in trying to get past Usakov. But Usakov is keeping his card in all the right places at all the right times, and Ticehurst is the one who gets into 2nd place now past Ewan Charman as Connor Duncan in the GP plate is catching them like crazy. Into the last lap, and this is anybody's race now. Usakov leads the way. Ticehurst in 2nd from Charman and Duncan. Into the braking zone for Ashby. Usakov is standing firm. Ticehurst gets on the grass, and this could be a couple of places lost. Charman goes through, Duncan goes through, and round the outside, he's lost ground as well. Charman's actually fallen down to 4th position. Who's that that's cracked up into 2nd place? That is the 26 that's come through. Jocelyn, and they bang wheels. Jocelyn and Charman bang wheels. Charman has managed to get through to second place. Ticehurst is back into third, but it's Usakov who wins it. Superb racing! Usakov gets the win from Charman and Ticehurst. Fourth is Henry Jocelyn from Max Cuthbert, who came back on the last lap. And Connor Duncan recovers to sixth position. Let's watch this again. Jocelyn and Duncan are duelling. They're on the grass. They've squeezed each other out. Charman dives for the inside line. They bang wheels. Charman goes up in the air, but Ticehurst assists him through. Brilliant racing and an absolutely fantastic battle here in Honda Cadet at Whilton Mill. Goodness me!
Well, what a fantastic finish to the Honda Cadets there. Gustav Usakovs, the Latvian Project 1 driver, getting the business done with one to go ahead of Ewan Charman. Those youngsters may be on a learning curve, but oh boy, did they deliver some exciting racing. Here's what they had to say when I caught up with them at the podium.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Me and Gustavs tried to push away, but Blake got involved in it. And we created a gap, but on the final few laps, the gap sort of came in when we started defending and Gustavs got away from us.
Got a good start, got behind you and then tried to push away from the pack. They kind of caught up and then I went around the outside of Ewan and then defended.
A cool drive under pressure in the pre-final from Ultimate R driver and championship leader Matty Hingley was enough for him to put himself on pole. Alongside him is Lewis Gardner. On the next row of the grid then, it's Tristan Rennie and Gabe Fairbrother. So let's see how Matty can do as we go and join your race commentator, Jake Sanson.
Pole position in Junior Rotax goes to Matty Hingley from Lewis Gardner, then Rennie, Fairbrother, Harrison and Neo Clark. Let's race at Whilton Mill! Charging through the first couple of sweepers and up towards Christmas. This is going to be a tough one for Matty Hingley to hold on to. Rennie's going to make his bid to come through past Lewis Gardner. We're on board with Neo Clark as they wrestle their way through the first few corners, chasing their way down. Hingley leads the way at the present moment in time. Tristan Rennie through to second position. A really good run from the young Scot. He's getting such a good run in 2020. Last year he made a very impressive transition to the world of Rotax's senior categories. Now he is here in Junior Rotax doing an absolutely fantastic job. And here he is right in behind Matty Hingley. This is going to be a very exciting run between these two. I think there's not going to be much to choose between them in terms of raw pace. Hingley versus Rennie. It could be a battle for the ages in Junior Rotax in 2020 in UKC. And now they are going to go wheel to wheel throughout this entire circuit for what is likely to be about 18 or 19 laps of racing around Whilton Mill, depending on how much time we expunge through the final. So on board with Rennie. He still can't quite find a way past Matty Hingley, but he will not give up. He won't be denied. He's got a good run for the inside of Ashby. He can't make the move stick, and he needs to do something about it because Lewis Gardner is right there in third position trying to come through. Now we're on board with Finley Harrison as he tries to make some progress just in behind Gabe Fairbrother. Young man from Chester will dance on the D together if he has a decent result, but Rennie's going to make his move on the inside of Matty Hingley. Here he comes. Big move, and it's a lovely one through Christmas. So a lead change as Tristan Rennie gets up the inside of Matty Hingley, and Lewis Gardner is right there in the mix, in third position, trying to take advantage of both of them. So Rennie heads Matty Hingley now over into the next lap. Lap 5, Rennie just continuing on his good form. He runs very deep out of the turn. And is there going to be another good opportunity here? for the 11, Matty Hingley. Will he make his bid to come by? Yes, he does, on the inside into Ashby. Rennie tries to shut the door on him, and they both drift out wide. Rennie's on the grass, and that drops him to 4th position. He'll have dirt on the tyres. Now let's watch again. Look, both drivers are trying to go for the same bit of racetrack. Hingley's on the curbs. That spits him out wide, and there's nothing that Rennie can do. He tries to stay alongside him, but through goes both Gardner and Clark. So that is a big problem for Tristan Rennie. He now drops to 4th position, and the rest of the field are duelling away. The 32 in the mix there, trying to make up progress, I think, on the inside, and that's a change for the lead again as Lewis Gardner gets the lead this time. It's a brilliant bit of racing. I was talking about the 32, it's actually the 38 I saw. My apologies, that's Finley Harrison, still right up in the mix of the top 6. But now we have a third, I can't keep count, different leader, as that is Lewis Gardner, but it's certainly the 4th lead change in as many laps. Neo Clark is now right in behind Matty Hingley. He wants a piece of this victory now, especially considering he's got a great opportunity to grab it. Tristan Rennie still there in 4th position. And as they go into lap 8, it is Gardner who leads from Hingley. Then it is Neo Clark. And in 4th position now, making steady progress, Tristan Rennie, trying to keep in front of the likes of Finley Harrison and Ben Foland. And here's the move. Is Hingley going to get the run on Gardner? Gardner's not going to give him any space, and he keeps the place. Good bit of defending from Gardner. And now Neo Clark knows that Hingley's getting a little bit desperate sat there in 2nd place. So he's going to have to try harder if he wants to take the victory away from him. Now, if I'm Neo Clark in 3rd position, I'll want to wait for Matty Hingley to make his overtake and then try and get straight through in the same breath. Here we go again. Into Ashby. Hingley's got better ideas than just a slingshot up the inside. He's going to try and get a better exit. Maybe get a slingshot out of Chapman, because through Parker, he looks like he's got a good run, but still he can't quite find a way through. Into lap 10. And still, Matty Hingley. Oh, he's got through. I didn't see where he made the move stick, but Matty Hingley's got into the position. So Hingley is through, past Gardner, past Clark, and here's Tristan Rennie on board in 4th place, trying to catch them up again. Now, if he does catch them, then we've got a very fast quartet of racers to battle for the victory. So Hingley is through into the lead once more from Gardner and Clark. And they are going to be at each other's throats all the way round this Whilton Mill circuit. And there's the battle of chasing karts behind. From 6th position downwards, you've got the likes of Foland, Lapsley and Fairbrother. So Ben Foland, Scott Lapsley and Gabe Fairbrother trying to close up as they make progress. So here's Tristan Rennie chasing down these 3 men up the front. Hingley still there from Gardner and Clark. And this could go all the way to the line, because these 3 are going to have to try and essentially now count down laps, especially with Rennie trying to catch them. And we know how fast Tristan Rennie is because he was right up at the front earlier. So if he can get on terms with these 3... Whoops, that was close. Almost went straight off the circuit there. And that was a very tight run thing between the 2 of them. Now we've got Ben Foland dueling away still, as he is getting very close to the back end of Finley Harrison. Those 2 still wrestling away for position. But Tristan Rennie is catching the leading 3. Lap after lap, he's just chipping away at their slender advantage. And as they continue on their way into lap 13, the race is still close between these 2 drivers for 5th and 6th position. Still Harrison versus Foland. Now we're on board with Neo Clark. Gardner having a look for his way through past Matty Hingley. Can he get there? Hingley really wants to keep his lead in the championship. Did such a great job at Rowra. Now he's having to really fight for it here at Whilton Mill. And of course, next time out comes a local track for Hingley, 3 Sisters. So he needs to keep this momentum going in his favour. We're into lap 14. Hingley going well. Gardner, Clark and Rennie right there, giving him plenty of hustle and hurry up at the moment. They break down into the right-hander at Christmas. Flick through the left. Rennie still catching these 3. The tense and the suspense is absolutely growing with every single lap. But Gardner and Clark are playing the wise long game here. They're not trying to get under Hingley's skin yet. They're trying to lull him into a false sense of security. Then they'll pounce when the iron is hot. This could be an opportunity. Mixing my metaphors once again there, folks. You know me, that's how I roll. Still we battle. Tristan Rennie in behind the leading trio. You can see there as they come off the turn there, the front left tyre actually rises up a little bit. You actually lift off the ground the tiniest bit, and that can really damage your rhythm. It can upset your momentum. because all you're doing essentially is riding the crest of the bumps and then landing it in the best way possible to ensure that you don't lose ground. There's Harrison and Foland still battling away for position, but Hingley, look, has actually managed to get his way through. Look, a 46.277 for Matty Hingley, and he's actually stretched out enough of a gap over Gardner and Clark to be semi-comfortable. He's not dominant yet, of course, because all it's going to take is these two to work in unison for a couple of laps to get him straight back again. But Hingley is just trying to use the Ultimate R package that he's got to push his way further forward. This could be a bit of a run away from the pack here for Matty Hingley, and that really would be a worry for the rest of the field for this season, because if he's got that power in reserve by looking after his tyres, looking after his brakes, looking after the engine, and he's still got that little bit of extra momentum in reserve, that doesn't bode well for his opposition. It bodes very well, of course, for him, as he follows in his older brother's footsteps. Ben was a fantastic karter a good 8 or 7 seasons ago now, and now Matty is definitely following in older brother Ben's footsteps, and he's proving actually to be even slightly quicker at times. I wonder if Ben's worried. Well, seeing as how he's team manager in that squad, not at all. I think he's very proud of his younger brother. Clark running well in there, tucked up behind Lewis Gardner, the 23. They come through Crook and Oblivion. Past Fine Lady, up Manuel's bank, and Tristan Rennie has caught them, look. We've got this battle for second between Gardner and Clark. It's now a triumvirate, no longer a duo, as Matty Hingley is a couple of kart lengths ahead, and I'm not so sure they're going to be able to catch him at the moment. They're going to spend too long dueling with each other the way things are currently playing out. Hingley might have this win on a platter, because they've got to hope that these three will actually edge closer to Hingley on the final lap. I don't think there's going to be enough time to do it. Rennie's going to be spending far too much time closing up on Neo Clark. Clark is trying to get closer to Lewis Gardner. Gardner's dropped the hammer, look. He's actually started to edge away from Neo Clark. So I think this is going to be stalemate. Rennie's not quite going to be close enough to the back of Neo Clark. Clark isn't going to be close enough to the back of Gardner. And Gardner, you can see the daylight between him and the leader is too big. Matty Hingley's going to have this one. Rennie's going to try one final trick in the final bends. Can he grab third? Just! Goodness me, but Clark's going to get him straight back again on the inside line of the final turn. Look at that, a beautiful sweep by. And Rennie's hit the wall. Rennie's hit the wall as the checkered flag flies. Hingley takes the victory from Gardner and Clark, but look, Rennie is run out of the final turn, and he just nudges the barrier. That's how tough it can be. Now, can Tristan Rennie get it across the line? That's the big thing. Unfortunately, Rennie is going to be fourth, but only just. Goodness me, what a dramatic end to racing here at Whilton Mill.
Well, they finished in 1 and 2 at Rowrah, and they've done exactly the same here again this weekend at Whilton Mill. Lewis Gardner in second, just behind the ultimate R-man that is Matty Hingley. Another great race, and here's what they had to say when I caught up with them afterwards.
Started the race off, I dropped to third at the start, I climbed my way back up to first, but then at the end he got me and then I just led for the rest of it.
All weekend it's been like a tenth or two between us all, but then in the final I just managed to just get a little gap and then that was it, it stayed the same really.
Well, a great race in the pre-final between Travis Coyne and James Lingard was enough to put themselves on the front row of the grid. Behind them in third is the championship leader, George Smith. Let's see how they all do as we go and join your race commentator, Jake Sanson.
Nearly under starters' orders in senior Rotax. Travis Coyne from pole position, then James Lingard from Smith, Garvey, Canham, Aiken, Edmonds and Huyton. Here we go. And it's a cracking start out front for Travis Coyne. He gets the jump through Oblivion and into Crook. And as they come up Manuel's Bank and Fine Lady, this is a good little challenge from Lingard, but he can't get around the outside at Christmas. So the field slots its way through. That looked like Canham getting up into fourth position behind George Smith. And a bit of defensive driving already from Travis Coyne as he holds the lead through Ashby. He does not want to let James Lingard get through into the lead as he may start to pull away. Kirsty Hockley looks like she's got some kind of mechanical problem developing there, because she's already dropped off the back of Miles Barthorpe, and that's unexpected. We're on board with Ryan Garvey, as up to the lead comes Lingard. He dives at the inside in the boot and takes away the lead from Travis Coyne. So he gets the D done nice and early. A good run from Lingard in front of Travis Coyne. Smith in third, Canham is fourth, and in fifth position that looks like Ryan Garvey, still there in position in the 32. And then in sixth place is Tommy Edmonds. So they battle their way into Christmas and back out towards Ashby once again. This is a very tricky part of the course, to be fair, as Harry Canham now follows in behind George Smith. When is Coyne going to make his bid for the victory? James Lingard leads the way. They go through Parker, down towards Chapman, the left-hander that takes you onto the back straight and leads up to the boot. So Canham still chasing down George Smith, who is keeping him firmly in his sights over his left shoulder. He does not want to lose ground if he doesn't have to. As they come off the double apex right and into the toe and into the heel. This is a completion of another lap here at Whilton Mill. Into Oblivion, into Crook. The right-hander up Manuel's Bank and Fine Lady once again. Is there going to be a bid for third position from Canham? Well, there's going to be a lead change because Coyne gets up the inside of Lingard as Canham gets through into third past George Smith. So 2 overtakes for the price of 1 there for you all. And it looks like a bit of a bid in the middle of the pack there as Chaz Huyton tries to get up the inside of Thomas Aiken and Tommy Edmonds. So battling away for position. It's looking pretty dicey. And that's exactly what we've come to expect from Senior Rotax. Plenty of overtakes. Looks as though, unfortunately, Kirsty Hockley is dropping a long way back now. Definitely some mechanical problems there on her Cosmic. So the rest of the field can continue to charge forward, but it looks like only 9 of them are going to make the finish at this point, and it looks like a big lunge further back. That's the overtaking move from the 92, Chaz Huyton. He does get the move then on Aiken and Edmonds. So a good bit of driving, but that's Lingard back in the lead from Travis Coyne. So Travis Coyne is going to have to try and work his magic to get back through on James Lingard. So Lingard is out in front once more. The battle continues. Is there a change for position? Not for third place yet, because still we've got Canham in front of Smith and Garvey. And Coyne is still battling away to try and make his way past James Lingard for the lead of the race. They come through the final turn, and it's Coyne in front. So Coyne has got through there on James Lingard. He's made the move. So Travis Coyne now leads the way from James Lingard in second. Third is Canham. And then you've got Smith and Garvey battling away for fourth and fifth positions. But Coyne has the upper hand now. James Lingard sat in behind as they come through Ashby. A little bit of a run wide, but there's enough run off to catch them. And then they come back up to the end of the lap through the boot once more. Travis Coyne running well in front of James Lingard. And as they come through to complete another lap, it's going to be an interesting challenge for fourth position, because now Smith is being caught not just by Ryan Garvey but also by the 92 of Chaz Huyton. Huyton's trying to get his way in there. Garvey can't quite get close enough to George Smith to make the bid into fourth position. That's allowing Harry Canham a chance to get away up front. As they come through Ashby, down the drop now into Chapman. This is going to be tricky because you've got 3-4 drivers here all wanting the same bit of racetrack. Canham's actually dropping the battle for fourth place now as he tries to close up on the karts up in front. So the battle continues, but it's not easy to maintain the lead for Travis Coyne ahead of James Lingard as they continue to duel away. Up into Christmas one more time with feeling, and Lingard is still putting a lot of pressure on Travis Coyne as they work their way through to the far side of the circuit into Ashby. No change from third to sixth. They are still very close. Lingard is giving Travis Coyne a real run for his money here at Whilton Mill, and that is Kirsty Hockley coming in. What a shame. Mechanical problems robbing her of a chance of a decent finish today at Whilton Mill. We didn't really get to see what she's capable of, and I'm sure next time out she'll be back to her best. So across the line, Coyne, Lingard, Canham is still there in third. Oh, a little bit of a run wide from Coyne. This could be the opportunity for Lingard, and he knows he's got him on the ropes. Can he make the bid? No, he's still going to try and pull away a little more from Harry Canham. He's got time in hand, so he doesn't have to rush this. Cannon's got a decent gap to George Smith. As they come into the right-hander at Ashby, Smith continues to hold station in front of Garvey and Chaz Heighton. Still a close battle. And now joining the fray comes Tommy Edmonds on the Spirit of Senna machine. He's still trying to get up to the top 6. And he's closing right in on Chaz Heighton. It's a matter of time before he can make his bid to get through. Travis Coyne again very wide out of Oblivion and Crook. So this is going to be an interesting run for Lingard to try and get through into Christmas. Coyne sorts it out again. Manages to hold station there. Not the easiest situation for the drivers to be in the middle of the race because you've got such a tight battle. But 4th position really is becoming a bit of a bottleneck. George Smith is holding up Garvey, and then of course Heighton and Edmonds are in the mix there. Thomas Aikin is almost closing in on them as well, and then Mars Barthorpe is not far away. So this could be anybody's battle still as Ryan Garvey chases after George Smith. This is for 5th position, and there goes Chaz Heighton. Heighton gets through on the inside line, and George Smith's got a problem. George Smith is slowing. George Smith has lost the position, and Edmonds has managed to sneak by Garvey in the process. There is George Smith pulling off mechanical problems, and that is his race over. What a shame for George Smith. Started 3rd, and it's all gone to nothing. Mechanical failure has set in, and his race is now done and dusted. So the race continues with Tommy Edmonds now having sneaked his way past the 32 of Ryan Garvey, and still these two duel for position. Fantastic to see them as they battle away. But it's going to be a very exciting run as the competitors continue on their charge. Coyne and Lingard still bolted together. Here's Garvey on the back of Tommy Edmonds. Into the boot, left, right, double apex, get on the power after the first apex. You can drift out wide and then come through in the final turn. Ryan Garvey getting very close to Tommy Edmonds as they come off the turn and up towards the chicane. Through Oblivion, through Crook. And now Edmonds has got a really good run. This might be the opportunity as he tries to come through on Garvey. Well, it looks like Miles Barthorpe's going to watch the overtaking move instead from the man in behind. That is Thomas Aikin making the move instead, so Aikin manages to get through. Edmonds was taking too long to get past Garvey, and he's managed to make the move himself. So a good bit of opportunism there from Aikin, but that is at the expense of Edmonds. So with Aikin getting through, he's now got to try and come back at him, Tommy Edmonds. But they are running out of laps. It's getting very hectic at the front end of the field. Coyne and Lingard are still in that position. So it's a very tough run. Here's Mars Barthorpe. We've not seen much of him in this race. He's been trying to fight his way back into contention. But Mars Barthorpe is hoping to have a really good run. He represented Great Britain, of course, in the Rotax finals last year. And he wears his United Kingdom overalls with pride here as they come through. This is going to be an interesting battle for the final couple of laps, but it looks as though the two leaders are going to be the only ones who will battle for the victory. Everyone else is going to be picking up scraps in this one. So that's Aikin again, trying to make his bid to come past Ryan Garvey as they lose massive quantities of ground to Chaz Heighton, who is now well and truly stretched away. But now you can see there's a tiny bit of daylight between Coyne and Lingard, and that is enough for Coyne to be comfortable. So he has got a little bit of an edge now. Lingard is doing his best to stay with Coyne, but he really has got the measure of this Whilton Mill circuit. They do so many laps around this place. If Barcelona is the testing ground to Formula 1, then Whilton Mill does tend to be the testing ground for British kart racers. A lot of people come here for testing and for club racing. And it really does show how much experience these guys have got of this place once they come to the Ultimate Karting Championship. They come through across the line. Fastest lap from James Lingard. He really is banging in fast ones in the final couple of laps of the race. We're into the final tour now. A 45.405 for James Lingard. Really good effort. And it looks to me as though he's doing his best to try and close in on Coyne. But there's not going to be enough time. He's done everything he possibly can to catch out Travis Coyne. Lingard doing his best. But he's there in second position and there's nothing he can do about it. Travis Coyne has been working very hard indeed, but it's going to be Travis Coyne who takes the checkered flag. He wins here in Whilton Mill. James Lingard in a vault second. Canham is going to be in third place, and deservedly so. Great racing at Whilton Mill. They've given us plenty of entertainment in senior Rotax.
Well, another great race here at Whilton Mill, this time for the Rotax seniors, and in the end it was Harry Canham who got himself on the podium in third place, but ahead of him were the two men that started on the front row of the grid, James Lingard and Travis Coyne with the win. Commiserations though to the man that won in Rowrah, George Smith. He went out with the mechanical with some laps still to run. Here's what they all had to say when I caught up with them at the podium.
Really hard weekend. We struggled to quite have the edge at the end of the weekend, but we've been really fast all weekend. Just not quite the result we were hoping for.
Yeah, it's a good race. James Lingard all weekend been on my tail. I think I just managed to break him towards the end. But yeah, it's a really good race.
So it's the final one of the weekend now, and after an incident in the pre-final, Caden McQueen, Callum Bradshaw and Reggie Dewey all line up on the back of the grid. Matt Armstrong was the benefactor there as he starts on pole. It's set to be an exciting race in the X30 seniors then, so let's go and join your race commentator, Jake Sanson.
Matt Armstrong leads the way alongside Kalai Atkins, Connor Jupp and Matthew Rees, O'Brien, Romanek, Coombs, Otto Patel and Parker. Watch out for Bradshaw and McQueen in behind Rihanna Reagan. And as they go through the first couple of corners on the circuit here at Whilton Mill, they're going to come up to Christmas. And it's going to be a really interesting challenge. We're on board with Connor Jupp, second place off the start. He's jumped Kalai Atkins. They make their way through the left-right kink and up towards Ashby. Big stop here for the hairpin. But Junior X30 was a good race. Senior X30 looks like it's well underway. But Matt Armstrong is really going to have a trouble dropping Connor Jupp and Kalai Atkins. They look very racy. And that's Bradshaw and McQueen moving forward. They are basically going through the field in unison as they charge their way through, picking off karts one by one. So now the field continues on its way. And here's the move from Kalai Atkins. He gets through on the inside of Connor Jupp. Nice move from the Jamaican. He storms into second place. And aboard his Mad Croc, he really has managed to get a fine move there on Connor Jupp. Now his next target is Matt Armstrong up the road. But can he make it work? This is going to be a difficult race for both Atkins and Jupp. Armstrong has been very fast all day long. And this is going to be a difficult race for them to win, because Armstrong, once he gets into the lead of a race on a kart that he likes, it's very difficult to shake him up. Look in the background, that's Bradshaw and McQueen. They have come up to 5th and 6th already. Goodness me, they are charging through the field rapidly. So Connor Jupp is now tight in behind the 41 of Kalai Atkins. And he is working his best to try and come through back into second position. But Atkins has this one fairly well nailed at the moment. There's Caden McQueen chasing after Bradshaw. And behind him, that is a move from Conor O'Brien. He gets through on Cameron Coombs. And they nearly lose out to Vishal Patel. So a very good bit of racecraft there, but Conor O'Brien manages to place himself back into 7th place. Having lost out some places initially off the start, he is getting himself back into contention, which is very good news from his point of view. So with Patel past Cameron Coombs, this is going to be an interesting race for those two, but Kalai Atkins is now caught right up to Matt Armstrong. So he's trying to make his bid to come through. Having got back into second place, he's fairly dropping Connor Jupp. Jupp is now just watching these two play out a victory. But can Kalai Atkins get past? It's not going to be easy to find the space. Matt Armstrong isn't going to give him any favours. So this is all going to be about who has the most patience through the race. They come out of Oblivion and out of Crook into Christmas once again. This is not going to be easy for Kalai Atkins. He's reading Matt Armstrong's every move around the corner. But the advantage he does have is that it's always easier for the racing driver sat in second place to anticipate the movement of the race leader. Easier to chase than it is to be chased. That's the old racing driver's adage. Callum Bradshaw, though, is closing up on his teammate. So he's making big moves towards Corner Jump. 35 is currently in third. 25 is currently now in fourth because Callum Bradshaw has finally picked his way past Matthew Rees, as has Caden McQueen. So now he's trying to close up Bradshaw on his teammate. Is he going to find a willing teammate in Corner Jump? That's going to be the real problem, because Bradshaw is obviously fighting for the title here in the UKC. He won beautifully at Rower last time, but you can see that being in fourth position, he's obviously got 3 drivers on the podium in front of him, and he wants to grab his way back into title-winning contention by picking up as many points as possible. And that problem in the pre-final really hasn't helped him, so now he needs to close right up to his teammate Connor Jupp and start to make inroads into the move. Lap 12. And still not much change between Armstrong and Atkins. I think Atkins is playing the long game here. He's sitting well in behind Armstrong, just letting him do all the hard work. He'll cut through the air, he'll push his engine, he'll wear out his brakes. Atkins can just follow in behind. Bradshaw, though, doesn't even have that on his thoughts at the moment. He's just trying to make a move on Connor Jupp to start getting after the guys in front, and he launches it up the inside in Chapman. Lovely move there. And a fantastic overtake from Callum Bradshaw puts him up into third place, with Caden McQueen bearing down on the 2 of them as well. And the top 5, look at that, they are well clear of the rest of the field. They have absolutely checked out. So it's a really good run. Matthew Rees is still there in P6, albeit quite a long way back from the rest of the field now. But Atkins is still all over the back of Armstrong. You've got to think, when do I make the overtaking move? Do I do it sooner rather than later? Because it is going to be a tough race for him. He knows just how little time he's got to make this move on Armstrong. They bow out of Crook, up Fine Lady, past Manuel's Bank, and then into Christmas. Such a difficult circuit to find an overtaking move because you're relying on the guy in front being generous and leaving you enough space. There are so many parts of the circuit when you can just edge the kart slightly over the apex to the middle of the circuit, and it shuts down any opposition from the driver trying to come through. Lap 16. Atkins still giving it everything, still working hard, and Bradshaw is still chipping away at both of them. He needs to get on with this move sooner, because now Bradshaw is absolutely eating away at the advantage. So Atkins has got to try and make this move on Armstrong, because Bradshaw is closing, and now Atkins knows it, so he realises he's got to step on it, because Bradshaw is going quicker and quicker and really starting to eat into that gap. 4 laps to go, and Atkins is really giving it some up towards Armstrong now, but he needs to find a clear move. He can't just banzai up the inside and hope it's going to stick, especially when somebody like Armstrong, who is very well versed at this sport now, he will know exactly what Carly Atkins will be up to, and he will be ultra defensive. He's actually backing Atkins into Bradshaw here, who sets the fastest lap, 45.1. So this is exactly what Armstrong wants. He wants Bradshaw to start attacking Atkins, because if he gets delayed making a move, that's enough for Armstrong to start to pull away in the last couple of laps of the race. So right now he could really use a big Bradshaw overtake on Kalai Atkins, because that will do him plenty of good. Out of the final turn and across the line. 2 to go. It's now or never for Kalai Atkins. He's got to make a run on Matt Armstrong, because Bradshaw is right there and he will want to make the overtaking move. Armstrong now having to defend, and Bradshaw's going to take advantage of it up the inside. They bang wheels and Bradshaw gets the move. That was opportunism from Callum Bradshaw. Armstrong is now defending. He doesn't even need to at this point. Bradshaw is now right there with him. So Armstrong knows, right, I've got a couple of kart lengths. It's not Atkins anymore, it's Bradshaw, so I've got to go for a qualifying lap and a half, because I need to get away from Bradshaw. Bradshaw is right there, though, as they go into the last lap. This is not going to be easy for Armstrong to hang on to. Bradshaw wants the win. He'll try every trick in the book. And so Armstrong needs to be defensive to hang on to it. He backs him into Christmas. This is nice from Armstrong. He's got to shut down any big move from Bradshaw. He pulls across to the middle of the circuit, backs Bradshaw back into Atkins in the hope that the Jamaican can make an overtaking move for second place again on the final tour. But Bradshaw is attacking and defending in the same breath. Armstrong's doing his best. It's not going to be enough. It's close to the line, but Armstrong's just going to get there in front of Bradshaw and Atkins. Oh, Connor Jupp is fourth in front of Caden McQueen, but that race went right down to the wire, and Matt Armstrong conquers all. He never lost the lead. What an amazing race here at Whilton Mill. Bradshaw, though, fighting back to second.
Well, a fantastic victory there for Matt Armstrong. Lights to flag for him. But what about the man who came home in second, Callum Bradshaw? Started on the 6th row of the grid and worked his way through the field. Gave us a last couple of laps of full excitement, sneaking the second step of the podium. Here's what they had to say when I caught up with them afterwards.
Definitely salvaged something from the weekend. The second place is more than good enough. A little fastest lap as well for the bonus. So I think we're still in a strong position for the championship and sort of going to Wigan with high hopes.
Well, what a conclusion to the racing here at Whilton Mill. Another 4 class champions crowned. Let's take a look and see what it's done to the overall championship tables.
It's definitely made things pretty spicy. Ewan Sharman leads the way from Connor Duncan and Gustav Ushakov in Honda Cadet, but you can see there's only a 4-point swing in Sharman's favour as the rest of the Honda Cadet field are desperately trying to close in. Even in that mid-pack, you can see just how tight it is. One decent result here or there can really change things at the front end of the field. Looking at the standings in Junior Rotax, Matty Hinchley has 4 points over Lewis Gardner, with Rennie, Fairbrother, Clark and Harrison very much in contention. Clark and Harrison are actually dead level for points at this phase in the top 6. Still plenty of time for the other contenders in the Junior Rotax ranks to make their way up the standings. Still a long way to go in UKC 2020. In the battle for Senior Rotax, Lingard and Smith have only got 5 points between them. Barthorpe is catching, but Garvey, Eichen and Canham are getting some decent points in. That victory for Travis Coyne has taken him up the order as well. And the likes of Edmonds, Powell, Wood, they are all trying to get some more points on the board as well. Hopefully we'll see Max Fitton return for round 3. And last but not least, in Iami X30 Senior, Bradshaw still holds a slender lead over Chupp. Armstrong's done well though. McQueen, O'Brien, Atkins, Dewey and Lewis Gilbert are still steady in the points rankings, and there's still plenty of time for more drivers to put themselves up on that point standings board as the season continues here in the Ultimate Karting Championships.
So that's what the championship tables are looking like, and after this we head to round 3, swiftly then to Three Sisters Raceway. Many of these drivers know that track well, and we are in for a treat. Fast racing, exciting racing, everything that you'd always expect from the Ultimate Karting Championship. Until then, from all us here at Whilton Mill, see ya.